Hello and welcome here to Talk SCB and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking another look ahead at the very important transfer window that's going to be coming up for us this summer. I did a video a few days ago, guys, on 7 centre-back targets which we should be taking a look at. If you haven't seen that video yet, that is in the description that you could go and have a look at. But today we're going to be taking a look at 5 different left-backs which are on Barcelona's radar and we could possibly see at the Camp Nou from next season onwards. Now, what I've done is, again, I've compiled some stats to counter my opinions and also to use as guidelines really to see how they've done this season. I've gone with assists because I think personally any fullback coming to Barcelona, their most important attribute is going forward. It's not really the case for many clubs around Europe. A lot of people, you'd say, fullbacks coming in, the first thing they've got to be able to do is defend. But the amount of time that our fullbacks spend in the opposition half, the most important thing for them really is attacking. They're going to be spending most of their time in the final third, trying to get on the end of things, creating goals, and that's why it's so important the left back that comes in is offensively good as well as being good defensively, because that's still important. But also, we're not really sure this summer what sort of left-back we're going to be looking for. Somebody to maybe complement Jordi Alba or maybe accept the place on the bench, more of a squad player like when we signed Adriano a few years ago. Is he going to be somebody who just comes in and accepts that sort of backup role? Or are we going to be signing somebody to really rival Jordi Alba? Because recently his performances have dipped a little. He's had some good ones this season, but at the same time, there is definitely something there that he could improve on, he can be pushed. And I think it's important this summer that we sign somebody who can really push him all the way and make sure that everybody is fighting for their place. So we're going to be taking a look at the assists. Tackles per game I think is really important. Of course, as a defender, any defender needs to be good in the tackling area. And I've also gone for interceptions per game because I think any player in Barcelona's team needs to be good in terms of intercepting play, in terms of starting counter-attacks, and also in defending counter-attacks and intercepting the play there. So the first guy that we're going to start with is Bayer Leverkusen's Wendell. Now, this guy has been reportedly interested in Real Madrid as well, but also us as well. So Barca and Real Madrid are both interested reportedly in signing Wendell from Leverkusen. He's a 21-year-old left-back. He's made 28 appearances for Leverkusen this season, the most out of any of the 5 targets we're going to be mentioning here, and he really has enjoyed a breakthrough season in the German top division. He's been absolutely excellent for Leverkusen. He's one of the best left-backs in the league now, and he's what you'd probably say is an all-round left-back. He can go forward, he can defend, he's very much an all-action player. He's got good pace about him, good athleticism, and you can see that from his stats. He's got no assists, which I'll come on to in just a moment, but he's got 2.9 tackles a game, which is definitely above average, and he's got 3.6 interceptions per game, which again is well above the average. So certainly defensively, he's very much a proactive defender. He gets in the faces of the opposition, he's quick to get to his man, he presses high, and it's something in terms of that aspect of his game which would really suit us. He gets around the pitch very, very well, which again would be a big asset of his. He's got no assists, as I say, but that could well be a sort of slightly deceiving stat. There could be players that are getting into good areas, he could be putting good balls into the box, but just nobody's getting on the end of them. You don't really know, but certainly that's something that he could look to improve if he comes to us. Those balls in the final third and that decision making in the final third is absolutely key as a Barcelona player. But just simply because of the season he's had, he's been excellent for Leverkusen in European competitions as well. I've given him a 9 out of 10, and reportedly in the Spanish media he is our #1 left back target this summer, but it is unclear yet how much Leverkusen would be asking for. I would guess at around 25 million. I think that's what he would be. Possibly less if you can really be good negotiators, but I don't really see us as good negotiators. So I'd say about 25 million we would take to get Wendell this summer. But this season proves that may well be an option because he does look like a very good player. Number 2 is Wolfsburg's Ricardo Rodriguez. No doubt you've heard about him. He's got a penalty against Real Madrid in the Champions League very, very recently. And I've also given him a 9 out of 10 rating. He's made 24 appearances in the Bundesliga this season. He's 23 years old, 5'11". So again, he's a pretty tall guy for a left back. I mean, Jordi Alba's about 5'7", I believe. So certainly these guys are a bit taller. Certainly Ricardo Rodriguez reminds me a lot of Eric Abidal, actually, in the way that if he came into our team, he would play that sort of role. He loves to get forward. He's very, very good offensively, but also defensively he's a strong one. His positioning is always good. He's very, very physical. He's a strong boy. So I think certainly in that respect, he can also play a little bit more conserved. You know, if we need to defend, if we need to sit back, he is somebody who could do that because he's very, very good not only going forward, but he is good in his own half as well, defending with his back against the wall. He's got 3 assists this season, which is a good tally, and he's got a few goals as well. But I would say about his goals, a lot of them are from penalty kicks and free kicks. Now, while Ricardo Rodriguez might get near a penalty kick, because our record really from the spot leaves a lot to be desired, I don't think he'd get near many free kicks. Messi, Neymar, of course, seem to step up and take them no matter what happens. So I don't think Ricardo Rodriguez would get a look in there, but certainly from the spot, he could be quite useful indeed. He's got 1.5 tackles per game and 1.8 interceptions per game, just highlighting how impressive Wendell's stats were. But certainly he's another player we're going to be looking at this summer. And again, Real Madrid are reportedly also interested in Ricardo Rodriguez. So again, a lot of our targets are being scouted and followed by the very biggest clubs, and we could face some fierce competition to get these players in the summer. I think Wolfsburg will be looking for about 30 million for this guy. I think Wolfsburg have definitely held firm over him. He's one of their best players. They've had a poor season as well, but certainly the interest could be there for Ricardo Rodriguez to leave, because like I say, they've not been great this season. They may have reached the Champions League quarterfinals, but they went out when they really shouldn't have in the end. But he's a target that could well be available and certainly would be a very, very good acquisition. The third player you will also know of, Jose Gaya. He's made a few appearances for the Spanish national team. He's one of the breakthrough players in Spain, and yet again, he's one of these many, many players on the conveyor belt of Valencia. They just produce left back after left back after left back, and we've got another one coming up just after this. But Jose Gaya, one of the youngest players on this list, just 20 years old. He's a bit smaller than the first two, but he's certainly a player that's shown a lot of promise in La Liga. Certainly over the last few seasons, he's really established himself, and he's still got so much more as well that he can grow and improve as a player. So there's a lot of potential in this guy. He's La Liga experience. He's played in European competitions. He's got 1 assist to his name. He's struggled with injuries a little bit throughout this season, so he's not had the best of seasons. And Valencia as well at the same time haven't been at all convincing this season. But 2.8 tackles per game and 1.2 interceptions are decent stats. He's again a player that does look to play more on the front foot than defensively. Going forward is his strength, and he's very, very good in the final third. He likes to get a lot of crosses into the area. He's very, very quick indeed. Very much similar to Jordi Alba, I must say. Like I say, again, coming from Valencia, he started off a little bit more advanced, playing as a winger. He's converted himself into a fullback, just like the man that we're going to come on to in a minute. But I've given Gaya an 8 out of 10. I think there's still a lot more that he can improve in his game. With experience, I'm sure that'll come. And at 20 years old, he would certainly be worth investing in. I think, again, you're looking at about 30 million. I think Valencia are not going to let this guy go easily. Real Madrid, again, showed reported interest last summer, and apparently he was all set to go and leave there, but Valencia slammed the door shut on that one. So I think getting Gaya wouldn't be very easy. Valencia really do want to try and keep a very, very important asset to their team. So that's going to be interesting to see how that one unfolds. And like I said, the next guy is also ex-Valencia and also a left-back. He's now at Bayern Munich. That's Juan Bernat. He, this season, I feel, since he left Valencia, because when he was at Valencia, he showed so much promise. And certainly in Pep Guardiola's first season in Bayern, he made some good strides. But this season, I think his development appears to have stagnated a little bit. He's not really improved. He's not really played an awful lot this season. Just the 15 league appearances, quite a few of those as well, just coming as a substitute. His stats, therefore, are down a little bit, only 1.5 interceptions per game and 1.3 tackles per game. He's got the 1 assist, and again, he's a player that was a winger to start off with, but converted into a left back. So certainly all of Juan Bernat's strengths are in the attacking third. I think defensively there's a lot that he can work on. I think he's very, very similar to Jordi Alba in that regard, that going forward he's excellent. He's got very, very good pace about him. He's good in the final third. His decision making is spot on, but certainly defensively there's a lot to be desired in his game. That's why I've only given him an 8 out of 10. He's got a lot of experience since he got to Bayern, and I'm sure that he's learned a lot while he's been over there. But I just wonder if he could be available for a bit of a cut price. He didn't go there for an awful lot of money, so I hope that now he's gone there. He's got the experience. I think when Pep Guardiola leaves for Manchester City, Ancelotti's going to come in. I'm not really sure he's Ancelotti's type of player. I think Ancelotti will want somebody in that left back area who's a little more solid, a little more reliable, and I think that could leave an option for Juan Bernat to leave Bayern this summer. It's going to be interested to see if we're going to be interested in bringing him to Barca, but he's certainly a decent target. I say he hasn't played much much this season. His development has stuttered a little bit, but it'll be interesting to see if you could get him playing again and back on the right track, how much he could grow and improve, because he's certainly in the Spanish squad, lately, and he's been doing well in there. So there's certainly potential there, but it just needs a game time for him to unlock that potential. But a good player nonetheless, and again, somebody that we could be interested in, and possibly one of the cheapest guys on this list. And finally, probably the cheapest one, the youngest lad, and the one that's probably most unlikely to come this summer, is Adrian Marin, and he's from Villarreal. He's 19 years old. He's the tallest on the list, 6'1", so he's actually more of a physical left back defensively. You can see from his stats he's outstanding. What I would say though, he's only made 10 league appearances, so those stats might be inflated a little bit because he's not had that many games to prove it over. 3.7 tackles per game and 2.7 interceptions are excellent. He's got no assists, and he's a player that Roberto Fernandez, our technical secretary, has scouted on many occasions. When we go to watch Villarreal, he is always scouted whenever he plays, and I think he's a young player that's certainly on our radar. I don't think we're going to go for him this summer, but in terms of our left back for the future, he could be one to keep an eye on because we scouted him on a number of occasions. We've kept going back to watch him, and certainly in a very good and improving Villarreal team. There's only more to come from this boy, so just say I've given him a 7 out of 10. He's one to keep an eye on. Like I say, I don't think we'll go for him this summer, but he would be a cheap option if we didn't have a lot of funds for a left back, and he could be someone then we could work on and develop for the future. But it's possible that he could come this summer, but for me it's unlikely. So those are the 5 targets, guys. I think in the order that I gave them, we're probably about right, really. I think Wendell is going to be our top target, but I think Real Madrid are going to rival us on that one. The same goes for Ricardo Rodriguez, and I'm not sure we're going to have the funds for him, with most of our funds going on a centre-back. I think Gaia, again, he's out of our price range, really, and it's going to be difficult to negotiate with Valencia. So I think Bernat would be an option if we could get him for a cut price, if Ancelotti didn't really fancy him. And of course, if we were really stretched for money at the end of the transfer window, Adrian Marin may be a player we could look at with a future in mind. But certainly Wendell looks an option, and I would say Juan Bernat. But, in terms of quality, Ricardo Rodriguez is right up there. But I just think the price of him, and also the fact that Real Madrid are firmly interested in him as well, could be a stumbling block. So leave your thoughts down below, guys. Same as last time, really. Rank these 5 in your order. What do you think about these 5 players? Who should we be looking to sign? How much should we be looking to spend? And what type of left back should we be looking for? Somebody to really rival Jordi Alba, or somebody just to come in and accept that backup role and just give him some rest when it's needed? So leave your thoughts down below, guys. Thanks as always for watching. Really excited to hear your opinions. It's been great to make this video today, and like I said, if you haven't seen that centre back video, that is in the description down below. So I'll see you very soon, guys, but until then, Visca, El Barça.